Good morning, everybody. This is the Floyd County Board of Supervisors meeting for July 24th, starting at 9 o'clock. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Item 2 is public comment. Good morning, everybody. All right. All right, move on to item 3, review/action regarding approval of July 9th and 10th, 2018 meeting minutes.
I would move to approve them as presented.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed. Move on to item 4, which is review/action regarding approval of the claims.
I move to approve the claims.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. All right, next item is item 5, review/action regarding request for proposals for the survey services for the Law Enforcement Center / courthouse project. We had them in our agenda packet from yesterday. And then also, Auditor Carr had also sent the email, or a copy of the email that came from Kurt Field from Prohaska with their recommendations. So, if you could,
This one is for the survey services,
there's,
correct?
right, the first one is for the survey, so there's 2
I
actions.
was looking for, he recommends Harold Wright,
Correct.
which I've had a lot of experience with him. They're an excellent company and semi-local from New Hampton.
Okay.
And I would certainly recommend them. So I'd be willing to make a motion to approve the survey contract with Harold Wright.
Right.
HR survey.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Motion passed on that. Item 6 then is review/action regarding geotechnical engineering services for Law Enforcement Center courthouse updates project. So again, there's 2 separate RFPs that went out with proposals coming back. And that one, I believe Kurt was recommending Terracon.
I was trying to think about that. Didn't Terracon do some boring out here at one time for, way back when, for geothermal? Did nobody ever get to that point? Maybe they were going to, and
It wasn't Terracon, it was a different company for.
Was it?
during
Okay.
the-
okay.
Terracon has done work for the county. They've
Right.
done some work on the Second Street engineering shed at some point, as well as,
Yeah.
they're the company who does, I believe, the Rudd Green Station.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time, and I've worked with them. And again, I would make a motion to approve a geotechnical contract with Terracon.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion on that at all? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Next item, review/action regarding treasurer's semi-annual report. We do have Frank here. I see you had sent a copy in our packet. So Frank, if you could join us, give us any updates, feedback.
I guess there are a couple items that I might point out to you of a organizational nature in regard to the statement. If you look at the main page where it lists all the funds and the balances and the revenue and the expenses, if you look down to item 82 and 83, it talks about the sheriff reserve fund and sheriff commissary fund. Those funds were never listed separately on the report prior to this. I noticed that they had been combined with the county sheriff forfeiture fund the last time I was was here making this report to you on, in December. And so since that time, we've made some changes to the reporting, and so now those are shown separately because they were misleading in the fact that they were saying that the forfeiture fund had a significantly larger balance in it than it actually does have. And of course, those funds are restricted in their usage, and this provides a clear picture for anyone who happens to take the time to look at the report.
Okay.
You might also notice that the balance from January was over $20 million, and the balance from June is only less than $14 million. So it's a significant change, and that significant change is primarily caused by the payment of the crossover bond situation, where on June 1st, we did pay off those original bonds that were part of the TIF district that encompasses the windmills.
Okay.
So now, we did have that crossover funding bond in place in order to pay that off, and now that's been paid off, and so that's the explanation for a significant amount of the change in those fund balances.
All right, anything else that needs to be brought to our attention?
Well, I'm just looking at the revenues and things, and as far as my office in regard to issuing of titles and things like that. You see that we did collect $2.6 million in motor vehicle fees and driver's license fees in the last 6 months, which is
Is that-
not out of the ordinary, I guess, but it's significant activity as far as the money coming in and out of the
Right.
funds. I see that the health plan has been drawn down.
Yeah, which one is that?
Employee health plan towards the bottom, about 8.
74. And that is in line, I think, with your intention.
Is there a reason for that, or we're still trying to do that?
This is,
Have we had a lot of claims, or?
we originally, a couple of years back, had intended to bring the fund down. Now the fund is coming down, more so because your insurance costs went up 30%.
You bring that up just to point that out,
Right.
not because it's in danger.
No, I'm just
Right, just pointing it out.
There's a difference, and, I mean, the difference is basically because we've been not contributing from the different departments into the fund at a rate. I mean, earlier, we had not been,
Previous
you
years.
chose to, instead of,
Fiscal year 17 is the last you did that.
And this year, we're contributing in a quote-unquote normal fashion.
This year and last year.
So that's something I'm sure you'll be paying attention to and watching through the year.
All right. All right, any questions on that?
No.
Further discussion? All right, so,
I'd make a motion to approve the Treasurer's semi-annual report.
All right.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
If y'all could sign one. Yeah. You don't have to now.
All right, we'll move on then to item 8, review/action regarding asphalt paving project of north parking lot driveway to South Jackson Street. We touched base on this yesterday a little bit. Did we, I know an action coming out of yesterday's meeting was to see if we could get the actual dimensions of that.
I had a
And
conversation with John.
You did, okay. So what have we got then?
Well, after the meeting, Laura and I were talking a little bit about additional parking over there, and there's room, we don't own that all the way to the edge of that street. There's a right of way for South Jackson. So, but John, we were kind of measuring, and it looks like there's enough room that we actually could add another lane to that parking lot in that grass. So he was gonna find the measurements. We are with that zoning and in that thing, we actually could pave it right to our property line. You know, it would be, it's an expense, and you know, we may have to reconfigure some of the other striping and some of the other stuff in the parking lot to make
And
it work. But-
So just to give a little bit of context to that, you know, for the record, after we had talked yesterday about just this opportunity with John Ballas coming to us and wondering whether or not we'd be interested, and since they're gonna be there anyway, of, you know, paving that entrance back there by the city dock. After we talked about that, we know with the law enforcement center project that parking is gonna be a concern for us anyway. And doing what we can to see if there's additional areas of, you know, parking that could be looked into. So this is a section, I think, that Gloria, you and Doug had talked about. So I just wanna make sure that everybody understands why we're even, or what we're looking at as far as the other opportunities, I think, for
Right.
finding locations for additional parking, and it happens to be that grass lot area between our current public parking and that South Jackson Street, so,
Right.
okay.
So actually, this item, the way it's written, I don't think we have any interest at all in doing that at this point, and whether this parking lot continues. John was gonna do some research, you know, to see what was allowed and what we couldn't, and another thing kinda came out of the conversation, I was showing him where the conceptual drawing, so it's an angle parking, but the parking zoning ordinance in Charles City says you can't back out into traffic. So that may not be a option for us, which was look good. So anyway, as we left it, John's gonna do some research into what we can do and what we can't do in that area on the west side of the parking lot.
Apply then with our angle parking issue? As well on Court Street if we were to do that?
That's what you were referring to, right? Was the
Right.
angle parking
Oh.
that's currently in our
We're talking
design
in
on
the-
Fourth Street.
The way it's showed on our conceptual drawing, you know, you pull in there and angle parking, but the parking ordinance says you can't back out into traffic.
Same would apply if you had parking on Jackson Street, couldn't back out. I mean, if you had drive-in parking on Jackson Street, couldn't back out there either then.
So that's what he said with, and I talked to him a little bit, you know, maybe it's even, if we don't do anything there, maybe we could ask for a variance and do temporary parking while our project is going on or something. So he was gonna do some more research and let us know.
All right. So again, we all know that it's gonna be an ongoing discussion, but it is a big concern that we have, whether it's
Right.
temporary versus ongoing, long-term. All right, so with your discussion, am I hearing you then that the recommendation is not to do anything at this time?
Correct. And as I said, that project, I'm also a subcontractor on that, and I know that it's not gonna happen until October, November anyway. So we have plenty of time, you know, if something else comes up.
For the record, how much were they offering?
5,000 is what he had said for the driveway.
Okay. just want to make sure that that's on record.
Right. So whether we want to table that or just drop it? Table it till later information.
You'll have lots of opportunities as far as concrete work, or if you'd rather do concrete than asphalt anyway, with our projects.
I mean, it sounds like at this point you could go ahead and I know, again, our action is, just deciding what we want to do as far as the asphalt paving project of that area, so, your motion can be made that we're making the decision at this time not to pursue it.
Yeah.
Because it can always be brought up, believe me, there's going to be lots of opportunities coming up for us to be,
Yeah.
taking action on what we want to do here in the future.
So I would make a motion that at this time we not do that asphalt paving as offered by the city until we get more information.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, motion made and seconded, further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right. Moving on to item 9, which is review/action regarding approval of the homestead tax credits, military exemptions, and disabled veterans homestead credit application for 2018. And those are the books.
So all the books are there. There were 208 homestead applications that they are recommended all of those be approved. There were 8 applications for disabled veterans homestead, but 7 of those they recommend for passing because one of the veterans has passed away. There were 30 military applications that they recommend all for approval. There's 229 homestead cancellations, 60 military cancellations, and 2 disabled veteran cancellations, and those are all for various reasons with either have deceased or no longer have the property or various reasons like that.
All right, so everybody has the letter in your packet. All right, so.
Yeah.
Yep, so-
You just, summary there.
I think it's on the other direction.
Yeah, that from the Department of Revenue.
Right, exactly.
No, that's not what this is though. This is our applications.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, got
This
it.
would be
This is
approving the 208, the 7.
Right, the 8, yeah, disabled versus 7, military applications of 30, homestead cancellations of 229, military cancellations of 60, and disabled cancellation of 2.
As
Okay.
recommended by the county assessor.
Okay,
You said assessor?
there you go.
All right, I'd make a motion to approve the homestead, military exemptions, and disabled veterans homestead credit applications as approved by the assessor for 2018.
Okay,
And I would second that.
all right, motion made and seconded, further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, then on to item 10, which is review/action regarding the funding of tax credits for homestead elderly, disabled military service, ag land, and family farm for taxes payable in fiscal year 19.
Can I have that on paper?
Yes,
That's what this letter is in there.
that's the one that's in the
Yes.
packet.
Yeah, and this is, if something was funded less than 100%, say like for the homestead or the elderly and disabled, you could fund more if you had county funds to do so. But typically you fund at the same rate that the state is funding. It's just kind of accepting it as it is by the state. This is what then we process the tax forms based on what you're carrying forward from the state.
And what we could say is that, again, for the fiscal year 2018-19 tax credit funding estimates for homestead, it's saying at 100%. That elderly and disabled would be at 100%. The military service would be at 100%. Ag land tax credits for ag land is at 19.72%. Let's say percent. I won't go on from there.
Come on.
No. And then number 2 for family farms is at 13.75%. Okay.
Those numbers are typically just based on the total gross dollar amount that the state funds. And so that's kind of how they end up with those unusual numbers. And so it's pretty typical that the ag land and family farm credit aren't fully funded.
Right.
So with that, I would move to approve that we approve these tax funding percentages.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, next on our agenda. Review/action regarding 2 applications for Floyd County license of fireworks permits. They're both for the same reason or person, but it's in 2 different locations, the way it looks.
Sarah Sherman is having they are having services for her father who passed away a few months back, and one is for at the cemetery, at Oakwood Cemetery, which is the cemetery just right outside of Floyd. And sounds like that's just kind of a one big bang kind of thing that meets the criteria for having a permit, requiring a permit to shoot off. And then the other is the same day, but in the evening, they're going to do a fireworks display with commercial
Cedar, at
fireworks
Cedar River.
at the Harley Davidson
At the
shop.
Harley Davidson
Yeah.
shop. Okay.
Jeff Sherman and Leslie have both reviewed this for Board of Health and zoning purposes. And we also have received adequate coverage for insurance, so everything looks appropriate to approve. The event is this weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday.
July 28th.
So can they both be approved as one, or do you need 2 separate motions?
You could do that as well, I suppose.
Being it's all the same person, same purpose.
Right.
Okay. I would move to approve the fireworks applications, fireworks permit as were presented.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, item 12, discussion with county engineer regarding secondary road activities. Is Dusty here today that we know of?
Engineer's office.
This is Linda up in the boardroom. Is Dusty planning on attending?
Yes, he left the office, so he
Okay.
should be on his way out.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. So how quickly can Dusty climb the steps? sure hope you guys are still good with us having this on our computer, because it's sure nice not to have
Mhm.
a full packet, since the last couple of days would have been quite a bit. Dusty, you're up.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything, so we'll see you later.
Nice try.
Bye.
I really don't have much, nothing on the agenda officially, but just review our operations. Contract rock basically finished up yesterday across the county. We finished on the south half and they're moving on. Paving project, all the grade work is complete. We ran into a utility last week where the utility was in the way and we finally got it relocated finally. We had a hard time getting them in here to do it. Since that time, they've finished with the dirt work, hauled in a modified sub base, and we're kind of on hold for a couple weeks before the paving comes in. Because of that 3 or 4 day window of delay, the Horsefield, who's the main contractor paving, went to a different project, so we're kind of just status quo until we know they're gonna come in.
It's a risk you take.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they may be running out of working days, but you know, we'll get it finished. It's not a big deal. So it more likely the second week in August they'll be paving. They said the 10th, but that's a Friday, so I don't know if they're gonna come in Friday, get ready, and then go Monday. I don't know. So that's where that's at. They also be seeding. They're coming in today to do they started seeding already on the south portion. Now they should be finishing the north portion of that. Grass will be growing and is growing. Bridge project up on 170th Street. The east abutment has been poured. I can't remember what I reported last time. So east abutment was poured. All the east pier, the pile have been driven. The spread footing, basically the footing itself, was poured last week, and then now the stem coming up from there was poured yesterday. And so now I think Friday they'll be pouring the east pier cap. From there they'll go to the west pier. So steadily moving along with that, which is good.
Well, the weather has started to cooperate.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Yeah, we ran a little problem there, but
Yeah.
we're too far into craziness before that high water came. The dirt work on the west berm has been happening at the same time while they were doing the concrete work. It's a different subcontractor. So that dirt work of the west berm basically has been moving along. Moving some black or topsoil so that we can get part of that and seed it down so we can get some grass growing there too. Before we get any crazy rains, or hopefully that doesn't happen.
That's the problem on bridges. It's not the weather here that affects you sometimes, it's
It's
the
the
weather
ones up-
somewhere else, yeah.
Still pulling up rock out of the ditches for flood-related cases.
To see a
All over.
FEMA meeting is that,
They met with, I mean, there's nothing official yet as far as anything no presidential declaration obviously at this point. But we did meet with Homeland Security and the federal reps on Friday morning it was, Calvin did. So we just hurry up and wait, keep doing what we have to do and just keep documenting things, and then we won't know until they officially do it or don't, so. Which we'll get to a budget amendment sometime, because we'll definitely have to add
Right.
rock. Day labor projects, 145th Street, northeast of Floyd. That's been shut down for quite a while. We set those, if you get a chance, look at those. Those are kind of neat. They're like half culverts with the bottoms in them. about our cheapest alternative that made sense. They set those last week, Wednesday or Thursday, I think.
Where was that located?
145th. Oh, it's between, I'll go right on my camera
Yeah,
here.
that one.
Quail and, thanks, Quail and Rampart. Between Quail and Rampart, 145th. It's kind of neat system. We talked about 4 different options, and this was kind of the happy medium. And so they should, if weather cooperates, they should have that back open at the end of this week. We've got some other day labor stuff coming out. I know we've got to get the one done on Victory Avenue. That one's west of Caldwell and back south. That one's been on board. We let that a long time ago. So get that one done is the big thing to get done before we move stuff everywhere else. Equipment operator 2 interviews have been going on. That's
How's that going?
fun. I just love those. I
Yes,
had
he says
8
that.
last week, and I had 5 today, and 6 on Thursday.
How many applied?
38.
38.
And I interviewing 20 of them. One of them backed out, said he decided not to take the interview, so I'm interviewing 19 basically. I had 1 this morning, I got 1 a little at 10:30, and then I got 3 this afternoon, and then I got 6 on Thursday. And I'm done, so. But that's going really good. Very, very good candidates all along, so. That's why it was hard to narrow down. Everybody asked, how do you do
That
so
would
many?
be
And I'm
tough.
like, oh, I'd give everybody that has qualifications, you know, a chance to come talk to me.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
um,
I mean, it's a lot for you, but, you know, you're certainly taking the
Once
time.
I got through last week, it's kind of nice. I get through today, I'll be even better because I'm like, yeah, 6 left, all right. Very good candidates all around though, I think. It's nice having a good
Mhm.
group of people.
Good.
I don't think anything else, just the same status quo stuff, so. Mowing gravels, while we can. We did send out a letter, we got 2 bridges, we got some scour problems. One is the Round Bridge down on 290th. And then one, the Midway Bridge. Basically, there's some scour problems from our inspections that we have completed. And so we're taking some quotes on some scour issues that we need to try to get them safe. So we don't have a problem with them anytime it rains. Heavy rain, usually they silt back in, but then when you get a heavy rain, then it's almost like we need to do some sort of protection. So that's all I got.
And I know you had talked about T38, so Mark was able to give us an update on what's happening there. So it's nice to see some
Yeah.
things.
Actually, I got a
Moving forward.
memo out to try to get some phone numbers for those that would cut in the rumble strips again. I have not got all that compiled yet to do that, but we'll get there.
Good.
They installed the recheck cross traffic signs.
Did they? Okay. I saw that list that came, did Dave Little send that letter? No, not the one, you guys sent to Dave Little.
Right.
That's the one that was,
Right.
never mind.
Right. That
I did have some
came
conversations with some of them, the DOD, they called me directly, wanted to know blah, 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 this and that, and whatever. I said, no, you do what you have to do if it's anything related to, I'm like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I was over there at the NICOG transportation meeting, and Kristen seemed to know a lot about it.
Yeah. So,
And if you're around today, I'm going to stop down. I want to talk to you about Beaver Creek area, so we
Okay.
can get back
I know we
on
talked
our
about that.
agenda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that's update to, yeah, catch me when you can.
Okay.
Yeah, 10:30, 1:30, 2:30, and 3:30. And it usually lasts about an hour, so
Well, I think you're the last one, and we go into recess here, so
we can get time.
during the recess, I can catch you.
Yep.
Okay, great.
And then what's the other one? Oh, the joint one with Saragordo County, and I have interviewed at 10:30,
10:30.
so I'm like, yeah.
All right. That's it?
Cool, ice cream.
Yeah. Okay, I got
All
nothing.
right. Thank
Thanks.
you, I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. So with that then, our next item is scheduled for 10:30, so we are going to go into recess until 10:30.